Hey everyone, welcome to another Top 10 list. This Top 10 list features the top 10 bills that do not feature presidents. I want to thank One Roll at a Time for suggesting this list. I had a note earlier that didn't have a president on it, and he asked if there were at least 10 notes that didn't have them on. So this is what I put together. This is One Roll at a Time. If you haven't subscribed to him, please do check him out. And with that, let's get going. I've got One Roll at a Time up here. We'll start off with number 10. When you think of people on currency that aren't presidents, the first name that may come to mind is this guy, Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton on a $10 bill is pretty much how we grew up learning who Alexander Hamilton was. Hamilton has been on the $10 bill for quite some time. You can see this particular note is a 1929 Federal Reserve Bank note, and it still features Hamilton. There was a controversy to remove Hamilton and put a woman on the note, and then everybody stood up and said, no, Hamilton was one of the true founding fathers. We're not going to remove him. And they started to switch over to the 20. Anyway, whole other controversy. Anyway, Hamilton's one of the people on a bill who has never been president, yet you get a lot of people who think that he was. This particular 1929 Federal Reserve banknote, of course, features Hamilton there. That would be number 10. Number 9, let's add a zero to it. If you've got a $100 bill, you know that it's got Benjamin Franklin on it. Number 9 would be Benjamin Franklin. He has adorned $100 bills for well over 100 years, whether they be the small size currency, the large size currency. Not always necessarily on the $100 bill, but more often than not, if you have a $100 bill, it's going to have his portrait on there. Another person that everybody automatically assumes was a president, unless you know all your presidents, Benjamin Franklin was never actually a president. But without Benjamin Franklin, we wouldn't have this country, of course. Anyway, Benjamin Franklin on a $100 bill, that would be number 9. Those are probably the easy ones. So let's get a little tougher. Number 8. I have Paul Sorvino from Goodfellas. Paul Sorvino. No, actually, that's William Wyndham is this gentleman's name. This is an 1891 $2 silver certificate, and this features William Wyndham, and he was the Secretary of Treasury from 1881 and then again in 1889 to 1891. Secretary of Treasury William Wyndham does have an uncanny resemblance to Paul Sorvino, though. So that's that particular one. That would be number 8 on my list. Number 7, let me flash this up here and see if you think what I thought. If I show you this picture right here, I'm sure all of you realize that was who? Teddy Roosevelt? Is that what you suggested? No, you would be wrong. I did think that too. And I took another look and realized that is not Teddy Roosevelt. This is an 1886 $2 silver certificate, and this features General Winfield Scott Hancock from the Civil War. If you look a little closer, you can see that is a Civil War uniform that he's wearing. Civil War General Winfield Scott Hancock. Take a quick peek at the back of that one just because I have this one out. That is who is featured on the $2 bill. Once again, not a president, but still a crucial person in American history. 10, 9, 8. That was number 7. Number 6, the coolest beard ever featured on U.S. currency. This, of course, is a $1 Treasury note. This is the 1891 $1 Treasury note, and this features Edwin M Stanton. That's Edwin M Stanton. And for those of you who don't know who Edwin Stanton is, he was the Secretary of War for both Lincoln and Andrew Johnson. Secretary of War, position that we have renamed. What did we rename it? Secretary of State? Secretary of War, no longer the current title, but that would be William Stanton, of course, Secretary of War during the Civil War. Number 109,876. Number 5, Charlie Brown. No, not Charlie Brown. This one is Michael Hillegrass. Michael Hillegrass on the $10 gold certificate. $10 large size gold certificate featuring Michael Hillegrass. He was the very first treasurer of the United States. That's how he was able to garnish his position on a $10 bill. Very first treasurer of the United States from 1775 to 1789. That would be Michael Hillegas. Number 4. Number 4 features a $10 silver certificate, and the picture on here features not a president, but a vice president. This, of course, is the Tombstone note. This is an 1886 $10 silver certificate known as the Tombstone note, and it features Thomas A. Hendrix. Thomas A. Hendrix wasn't the president, but he was the vice president. In fact, he was a vice president for an extremely short period of time, March 4th, 1885, until November 25th, 1885. The reason he was there so short is he died in office. So because he died in office, they put him on the 1886 $10 silver certificate. Thomas A. Hendrix, VP of the U.S. Number 3. Number 3, from 1886, it is a $1 silver certificate featuring none other than Martha Washington. Martha Washington, one of the few times that a woman has appeared, I should say one of the few times a named woman has appeared on our currency. Martha Washington was on it from 1886, and then also made an appearance on the back of the $1 educational series in 1896 with her husband George. The 1886 $1 silver certificate featuring Martha Washington. That is number 3 on my list. Number 2. Number 2 on my list is from 1862, this $1 legal tender, or United States note. $1 legal tender note. This features Salmon P. Chase on the $1 legal tender from 1862. He's also been on a number of other notes as well. He's on the $10,000 bill. He is on numerous $10,000 bills. He's on a couple gold certificates as well. And that's the note that I have picked. I have him for this list. Salmon P. Chase. Well, who is he? He is. Well, I should say he was the Secretary of the Treasury under Lincoln from 1861 to 1864. And then, after that, he became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court from 1864 to 1873. In fact, if you're a coin collector and you've ever seen the motto, "In God We Trust" on coins, that was his doing. He was the one that was able to get the motto, "In God We Trust" on coins. So that is Salmon P. Chase on an 1862 $1 legal tender. That would be number 2 with all those credentials. So what did I choose for my number 1 spot? Any guesses? I went with the 1899 $5 silver certificate featuring Chief Ockpapa. A lot of people would like to call him Chief, Chief Running Antelope is one of the names, and his actual name is Tato Khan Inyanka. Tato Ka Inyanka. Not the easiest to pronounce, but I gave it a try. Otherwise known as Chief Running Antelope from the Ockpapa tribe. A lot of people will call that tribe the One Papa tribe, because at a glance it looks like O-N-E, but it's actually O-N-C. So the Ockpapa tribe of Sioux Indians. That is who is on the $5 silver certificate from 1899. One of the most iconic notes. One of the most iconic figures you're going to see. It's the only time a Native American chief like this was pictured on a bill, so a very historical note that way. Very cool looking note. The script on there, the engraving on there, the blue, everything about this note is just really, really cool. And that's why I put it as my number 1 list. Number 1 note that has a person, not a president, on it. So that's my top 10 lists of notes that do not have presidents. If you think I got it right, give me a like. If you think that I got it wrong, leave a comment down below and tell me what you would have put on there. If I missed one, please let me know. If there was a note you think should have been on that list. And that's it for this week, and I'll see you guys again next week. If you have an idea for a list, go ahead and leave that down in the comments as well, and I will have your name up here. Thanks again, one roll at a time, for making the suggestion, and I'll talk to you guys next week.